Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here on what started as a pretty rough morning. And so at one point I was concerned about if we were going to be able to move forward with things, but glad that you all made it here to witness the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between USAID and Alcorn State University. I have to be honest and tell you all that at one point last semester, I thought I was working for Clinton White because most mornings I'd start with an email from Clinton White and the evening would end with an email from Clinton White. And so, I just put him on my list of people to make sure that I follow up with. So good to see you here this morning, Mr. White, as well as Ambassador Samantha Power. Thank you both for being with us this morning. This agreement is important for the institution for a number of reasons that folks will talk about over the course of this program. But given the release of our most recent strategic plan, it moves us forward in the international aspirations that we have for the university, especially for our students in international international involvement. So thank you all again for being here this morning. We will have remarks and introductions of the USAID Administrator from Mr. Christopher Epps, our Student Government Association President-elect, followed by remarks from Ambassador Samantha Power, remarks from Dr. Nave, and then an introduction to the MOU signing. So they will come in that order. Mr. Epps.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Christopher Epps, a junior plant and soil science student, and today I have the privilege of introducing Administrator Samantha Power. Samantha Power was sworn into office as the 19th Administrator of USAID on May 3, 2021. And leading the world's premier international development agency and its global staff over 10,000 people, Power will focus on helping the United States respond to 4 interconnected challenges: the COVID-19 pandemic and the development gains it has imperiled, climate change, the conflict and humanitarian crisis, and the democratic backsliding. Power will also ensure that USAID enhances its long-standing leadership in areas including food security, education, women's empowerment, and global health. Additionally, Power is the first USAID administrator to be a member of the National Security Council, where she will ensure that the development plays a critical role in America's responses to a range of economic, humanitarian, and geospatial issues. Prior to joining the Biden-Harris administration, Power was the analytic professor of practice of global leadership and public policy at Harvard Kennedy School, and the William D. Zabel Professor of practice in human rights at Harvard Law School. From 2013 to 2017, Power served in the Obama and Biden administration as the 28th U.S. permanent representative to the United States nations. During her time at the UN, Power rallied countries to combat Ebola epidemic, ratify the Paris climate change, and develop new international law to cripple ISIS financial networks. She worked to negotiate and implement the Sustainable Development Goals, help catalyze and hold international commitments to care for refugees, and advocated to secure the release of political prisoners and protect the rights of women and girls. From 2013, Power served in the National Security Council as staff and special assistant to the president and senior director for multicultural affairs and human rights. At the NSC, she advised the Obama-Biden administration on issues such as democracy promotion, UN reform, LGBTQ and women rights, and the fights against human trafficking and global corruption. An immigrant from Ireland, Power began her career as a war correspondent in Bosnia and went on to report from places including Kosovo, Rwanda, Sudan, and Zimbabwe. She was the founding executive director of the Carr Center for Human Rights Policy at Harvard Kennedy School and has been recognized as the Times 100 Most Influential People, one of foreign policy's top global thinkers, and by Forbes, one of the world's 100 most powerful women. Power is an author and editor of multiple books and the recipient of the 2003 Pulitzer Prize for Nonfiction. Power earned a BA from Yale University and a JD from Harvard Law School. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome and a clap for Administrator Samantha Power.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for the introduction, and congratulations on your recent election as Alcorn State's student president, Government Association president. That seems like a big deal. I love seeing the flags here together of the university and USAID. It's, I think, a really important seminal day, certainly for my institution, I hope also for yours, Madam President. Our colleagues at USDA, I have to say, are lucky to have Christopher as part of their 1890 National Scholars, which is a program that provides full tuition, mentorship, and job experience to a cohort of exceptional students at HBCUs studying agricultural, food, natural resource, and related science. Perhaps after you work this thing with USDA, you might give a look at USAID, because we do that kind of work overseas, and sometimes when I visit HBCUs, I have a little USDA envy, which I'm trying to keep in check here today, but particularly when I meet the students who are part of this amazing fellows program. But please, really encouraging the students here to look at USAID and to think about the contributions that they can make to doing development work overseas. It really is a pleasure to be here at Alcorn State University, the United States' first historically black land-grant institution. In 1871, I don't have to tell people here, Alcorn was established with the vital mission of educating the descendants of former slaves, offering some black Mississippians, carpenters, masons, farmers, their first chance at a higher education. Alcorn's mission has widened immeasurably since then to include students of various backgrounds and interests, giving them an education and resources that they have used to give back to the local community, to America, and to the global community. Thank you to President Nave for her leadership of the university, ably navigating Alcorn through an unprecedented pandemic, while highlighting the need to continue support of HBCUs in the halls of Congress and celebrating Alcorn's 150th anniversary. Love the mask, Madam President. Love the mask, the swag. 150 years.
Maybe you get one.
I need one. Thank you also to Dr. Ontario Wooden, Alcorn's Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Dr. Dovi Alipo, Alcorn's Director of Global Programs, who I understand played a very, very important role in planning today's historic MOU signing between Alcorn State and USAID. From our side, I have to join others in thanking Clinton White, who leads USAID's work in the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, for the instrumental, relentless role that he has played in making this MOU happen. I'd also like to thank Nene Diallo for joining us here today, USAID's first ever Chief Diversity Officer. Nene, welcome. Finally, I want to thank Alcorn's other senior leadership and students who've joined us this Monday morning, or I guess we've headed into the afternoon, in fact, but for giving us at USAID such a wonderful welcome. Later today, I will be able to visit the memorial statue of Alcorn's most famous alum and civil rights icon, Medgar Evers. Evers, an Army veteran who experienced a profound sense of betrayal in serving a country that denied him the right to vote, one of the very rights that he had sought to defend during the Second World War. Evers, the NAACP's first field secretary in Mississippi, who braved racist language and violent threats to push for integration in public facilities. Evers, whose perseverance and belief that a better America was possible became a legacy for other civil rights activists, including students right here at Alcorn. Evers, who believed that every Mississippian deserved the right to vote, the right to pursue an education, the right to start a career, begin a family, and live without fear. Being a pioneer like Medgar Evers, seeking justice and social progress while so many stand opposed and actively root for your failure requires vision, willpower, and most of all, courage. And if you're a Black pioneer, how much tougher is your path? How much heavier is your burden, bearing not just the weight of your own struggle, but of those who might aspire to follow you? Jackie Robinson, Bayard Rustin, Shirley Chisholm, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, people who defied the odds and overcame obstacles to become the first, and who had to endure outrageous hostility and searing indignity and work twice as hard to make sure that they were not the last. That pioneering spirit, nurtured by your faculty, your staff, your students, has allowed Alcorn trailblazers to shatter glass ceilings, redefine what it means to be a leader, and empower those who followed them to do the same. And as you all know, Alcorn has had more than its fair share of trailblazers. Mississippi Senator Hiram Revels, the first African American to serve in the U.S. Senate, was the first president of this great university. Alex Haley, the best-selling Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Roots, attended Alcorn. Steve McNair, the first African-American quarterback to win the AP NFL MVP award, and a philanthropist who supported over 25 charity organizations in Tennessee and in his home state here, Mississippi. Also an Alcorn alumnus. Dr. Nave herself, who was sworn in as the first woman president of Alcorn State almost 1 year ago, spent her undergraduate years right here on this campus. For more than 150 years, Alcorn State has molded students into pioneers in fields ranging from business to politics to higher education. Pioneers who've revitalized local economies, awakened the conscience of America, and transformed countless lives. And with its commitment to social mobility, Alcorn State has unlocked this opportunity for students who are the first in their family to receive a higher education. In fact, 34% of Alcorn's newest students are first generation. 71% are Pell Grant recipients. Here in Mississippi, the impact of Alcorn students, alumni, and researchers is deeply felt. In partnership with the USDA, agricultural extension workers from Alcorn have reached underserved farmers and ranchers with training on better watering methods and access to seeds to grow crops that can withstand extreme weather. As COVID-19 raged across the country, Alcorn State public health experts set up clinics to decrease vaccination disparities in Mississippi's rural Black communities. Scientists at Alcorn's Mississippi River Research Center, like Dr. Leonard Kibet, are studying how new sensors are making soil health more nutritious and fortified, and limiting local water pollution, helping to increase crop yields while reducing waterborne illnesses. But Alcorn has also taken its expertise and culture of care beyond Mississippi, serving the needs of underserved communities overseas. Alcorn State worked previously with the World Cocoa Foundation and the Mars Company to train Ghanaian cocoa farmers on good farm management practices, record keeping, and harvest planning. They also work with local youth groups to get young people interested in agriculture and entrepreneurship. In 2002, in partnership with USAID, Alcorn experts like Dr. Alipot developed public-private partnerships in Rwanda and Zambia to create and grow African businesses that sell herbal teas, spices, and dairy products. In Mali, Guinea, Senegal, and Nigeria, Alcorn scientists and extension specialists provided training to rural families on alternative crop development, budgeting, and agricultural marketing. This helped diversify incomes and strengthen community resilience to economic downturns. Today, through the U.S. government's Global Hunger and Food Security Initiative, which is known as Feed the Future, Alcorn faculty like Dr. Anthony Bafo-Bani are working in Ghana with our Peanut Innovation Lab to educate farmers on better ways to plant, water, and store valuable peanut crops to bring to market. Still, despite 2 decades of some meaningful work together, we know that USAID has in fact yet to fully tap into the expertise developed and housed at HBCUs like this one. We don't do enough to recruit your students, to partner with your faculty, or to advertise research opportunities to your campus or those of other HBCUs. And when we are able to recruit Black staff to USAID, we haven't always necessarily provided them with an environment that encourages them to stay and to thrive. At the highest levels of our agency leadership, Black people, and particularly Black women, are underrepresented. Of the nearly 33% of our workforce who are Black, the majority of them serve in support functions or in less senior roles. But we recognize that has to change, and so we are taking some pioneering steps of our own. USAID hosted its first ever HBCU International Development Student Conference to introduce students to the work that we do and to highlight our need for your involvement. At USAID and the State Department, we are greatly expanding the number of paid internships and fellowships that we offer, increasing access to the halls of power and to more permanent job opportunities. Last year, I had the privilege to swear in Paloma Adams Allen as our Deputy Administrator, the first Black woman to serve in this role in our 60-year history. Later this year, Clinton White will become our agency's first ever Black counselor, my Chief Foreign Service Advisor. And Nene, who, as I said, is our agency's first ever Chief Diversity Officer, will lead USAID's efforts to diversify our recruitment and create a more welcoming work culture so that underrepresented groups can thrive at our agency. Today's MOU with Alcorn State will challenge us to do even more to bring Alcorn's pioneering spirit to USAID, tackling the longstanding barriers HBCUs and their students have faced in attempting to partner with us. We will coordinate on-campus and virtual sessions and a speaker series to share basic yet vital information about how to work with USAID, whether that be through grants, public-private partnerships, or job contracts. We will expand paid research opportunities and internships. In fact, USAID's Eastern and Southern Caribbean office has already facilitated a partnership between Alcorn State and the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology to create a new paid internship and organize a trip to Barbados for Alcorn's students later this year. This internship will allow students to gain hands-on experience with weather and water mapping technology and risk management planning that help prepare local communities in Jamaica for climate-related disasters. Alcorn students will be able to apply for this opportunity later this year. And we will host experiential learning sessions like our newly developed Model USAID, taken after the Model UN idea, happening tomorrow, and this will give students a taste of the challenges USAID tackles every day. Those challenges, to be honest, are frankly the biggest challenges of our time. A pandemic which has killed millions, that continues to ravage communities where vaccines and treatment are still not readily accessible. A changing climate that threatens all of our lives, with stronger storms, droughts, and wildfires, but especially threatens communities of color. And as we've all witnessed during Russia's horrific invasion of Ukraine, the rising threat of autocracies who are willing to shed blood and murder civilians in a manner that threatens all of our democratic values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To rise to these challenges, we will need your vision and, yes, your courage. We will need your fresh ideas and pioneering spirit that reflect the lived experiences of all Americans. In short, we need you. In June of 1963, as students of Medgar Evers' legacy all know, he was brutally gunned down in his own driveway by a white supremacist. It would take 30 years before his murderer faced justice. But just 23 days before that, Medgar Evers was granted airtime on the local news station in Jackson after suing the city to desegregate its schools. For years, representatives from the NAACP and civil rights advocates were denied news coverage, what Evers described as a cotton curtain that allowed segregation and racism to maintain its hold in the city. But after Edgar's lawsuit, he was granted the chance to make his case. Across 17 gripping minutes, he talked about his own history as an Army veteran who had fought for democracy. He discussed how Jackson, a city of 150,000 people, 40% of whom were black, had no black police officers, no black firefighters, and no black clerks. And then, toward the end of his remarks, he spoke about the hopes of black people, about the role they wanted to play in American life if only given the chance. This country is home, Evers said, of the black American. It is his home. He wants to do his part to help make his city, state, and nation a better place for everyone, regardless of color and race. How do we say it? Alcornites? Alcornites? Alcornites. I know that is true of you. And I know you don't just help your nation improve, you want to help this world improve, to become kinder, gentler, more inclusive. Around the world, hundreds of millions of people could benefit from your helping hand in their pursuit of liberty, opportunity, and the power to chart their own future. And the work you all lead of calling out disparities, of championing the disempowered, of uplifting human dignity, shows the potential of what you have to offer them. Together, through today's Memorandum of Understanding, we can work together to extend that helping hand, to be the trailblazers, to be the pioneers of a more peaceful, healthy, and prosperous world. I sincerely hope that you will join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Administrator Powell, for your profound remarks, your candor, and your commitment to strengthening our relationship and to making sure that students at HBCUs and students of color in particular continue to have access and opportunity to those international experiences and to be able to exemplify the courage and the culture of care that we see here in our state today. To Administrator Powell delegation, Alcorn students, faculty, and staff, good afternoon, and welcome to a historic day in our university's history. Founded as the nation's first public land-grant historically black college and university, Alcorn's mission has been to emphasize intellectual development and lifelong learning through the integration of diverse pedagogies, applied and basic research, cultural and professional programs, public service, and outreach while providing access to globally competitive academic and research programs. Alcorn strives to prepare graduates to be well-rounded future leaders of high character and to be successful in the global marketplace of the 21st century. Staying true to our mission, this is what we continue to execute today by signing the MOU under USAID's Minority Serving Institution Partnerships Initiative. Goal 4 of our newly released strategic plan outlines Alcorn as expanding community engagement and economic development in Mississippi and beyond. This strategic direction involves a continued focus on collaborative relationships, common goals, shared resources, and the practice of balancing visionary thinking with applied knowledge and being a significant player in bolstering the economic progress in Mississippi and around the world. Part of this vision is coming to fruition today. It is because this is so important to us, we are allocating the resources that are necessary to support increased international engagement and actually including a passport program for our students. We understand that for our students to remain competitive and productive citizens, they must have an understanding of our world outside of our microcosm. Alcorn has several initiatives that aid in domestic and international development. Alcorn's Office of Global Programs facilitates technical assistance in developing countries and middle-income countries around the globe. It enhances and builds capacity for university involvement in international affairs while providing students with unique and rewarding international experiences and general global understanding. The Mississippi River Research Center in the School of Agriculture and Applied Sciences at Alcorn was created in the mid-1990s to combine and integrate research, teaching, and outreach in agriculture, applied sciences, environmental sciences, advanced technologies, and human sciences in the state and around the world. The MRRC mission is to advance knowledge of preservation, conservation, and water quality improvement while balancing economic and environmental impact. The MRRC provides capabilities in sustainable watershed management, soil and water quality laboratory analysis, and watershed assessment and modeling. Through our extension services, we aim to improve the quality of life of limited resource audience through education in a time of dynamic change. To support our students here on campus, particularly our international students, and to continue to infuse what international experiences are for other cultures, we also have the Office of Multicultural Affairs, who works in partnership with the Office of Global Programs. Our faculty members continue to engage in research to improve our world, but these are just a few of the initiatives we are involved in as we strive to become better global citizens. Alcorn remains on the cutting edge of its service to our communities by providing solutions to the ills that plague our society. I am grateful, very grateful, to be able to serve during such a pivotal moment in our history, in my alma mater's history. We look forward to a great partnership. And again, I want to thank Administrator Powell, and I've learned Clinton White for making sure that this happens, the USAID staff, Academic Affairs, the School of Agriculture and Applied Science, Dr. Alipo, and his dynamic staff in the Office of Global Programs for making today a reality. I also want to make sure I acknowledge our leadership team here at the university. If you'll wave your hands so that you can be recognized. And any other senior leadership members who are here present in support of today's event. There are some deans and executives here. Thank you very much. Thank you again, and we are very excited about this partnership and what it does for our students and our university, and look forward to working with you not just today, but well into the future. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dovi Alipo, and I serve as the Director of Global Programs here at Alcorn State. I'm also a professor of agricultural economics. The MOU that we are about to sign is a historic moment here for this university. And we are very, very proud to be associated with this initiative. The MOU is very comprehensive in a sense that it touches our students, it covers faculty development and exchanges and collaborative engagement in mutual areas of interest. The MOU was spearheaded by the Eastern Southern Caribbean Bureau of the USAID, which covers 11 countries, including Barbados, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and others. We've been doing some work, we've done some work with Guyana, so therefore this is really kind of well-fitting. It is our hope that this historic signing will expand international study and learning opportunities for our students and prepare them for careers in areas that are related to the work of the USAID. At the end of the day, that's what we are about at this university. We want our students to have those experiences that actually make them competitive when they are trying to get that job. A lot of people contributed to this historic event. First of all, I would like to thank the president of the university. Of course, we couldn't have done it without the commitment of this university for internationalization, generally speaking. Also, I would like to thank the provost of the university, Provost Wooden. Thank you so much for all your assistance in trying to get this thing ready. I would like to thank Dr. Buckner, who is the Dean of the School of Agriculture. Dr. Buckner himself has done a lot of work in Guyana and also has done some work in Africa, Cote d'Ivoire and what have you. Kenya now, also trying to explain to Kenya. So thank you so much for your assistance. And also, I would like to thank all the faculty and the staff who are contributing to this effort. The faculty of the School of Agriculture, the staff of Global Programs, Ms. Zandra Lowe, and Ms. Wolf, she's somewhere in the audience as well. We very much appreciate what you do every day. Without your work, of course, we wouldn't have been able to do this. Thank you all for coming to this signing event. And our deans, vice presidents, president of the Faculty Senate, I think he's here somewhere. And of course, our students. Christopher, thank you so much for your participation. We know we're going to have a great year next year. You're going to be our SGA president. And also the other SGA representative here, thank you so much for coming in. And our students, I think we have some students in the audience. Thank you for coming. Now, tomorrow we have USAID, Model USAID. We want you to come there as well. And from the USAID side, of course, we want to mention Mr. Clinton White, who is operating out of the Eastern and Southern Caribbean region. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you have done to make this possible. And also, we'd like to thank Alexis Butler in her absence. She is the USAID DDIR, located at Morehouse College in Atlanta. She played a crucial role in making this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this point, I think we're ready to sign.
Here.
On the side, signature page.
Oh, the signature page? Yeah, I guess so.
You wanna stand for the-
Stand up. Thank you. Yeah, yes, one without mask, please. Great, maybe look over here. Thank you.
Let's celebrate this with another rousing round of applause. Before I make a brief presentation, I'd also like for us to acknowledge our new Miss Alcorn State University, Miss Bria Fell. Thank you, Ms. Fell, for being here today. If I can get Ambassador Power and Mr. Clinton White to come to the podium. We just want to give you a small token of appreciation for the work that you've done, the work that we will do together, and to publicly thank you all again for making Alcorn State University a priority in this initiative. So the big bag goes to you. Thank you both. Thank you all for being here today. This ends our formal program.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm gonna get some pictures of the.
So you know what we have in store